Over 9 years ago, Crow Team surprised the world by releasing a fantastic puzzle game with wonderfully written script that pondered the philosophical questions of transhumanism and human nature, which was quite the departure from
yourself.
I did get slightly bored with it by the end of my playthrough, but loved it nonetheless, and it was an easy recommendation for any puzzle game lover. It was curious if the developers would attempt to make a sequel because, well, how? Apparently that's how, by defying my most optimistic expectations and delivering one of the best puzzle games ever. Pacing of the game is extremely well thought out. I spent even longer playing the game in comparison to the first one and started feeling a bit weary only right before the game ended. Most of the less exciting puzzle concepts from the previous game are gone, most of the new ideas are fantastic and are utilized just enough to not get stale, and the complexity and length of each puzzle is also just right. You get to experiment, get to feel a bit dumb, and get to feel very smart once you figure it all out. And speaking of smart, the script of the original game was smart and really well written, which is still the case here. It's just that now it's delivered in a way that feels so much more exciting and impactful. And it's strange how this game goes the most logical way to make a sequel story, and yet it's a genuine surprise that it does that. As usual, I won't go into details, but it's a beautiful experience that asks a lot of questions, ponders on possible answers, gives you the chance to debate the eternal questions, and try to help these post-human android people find their way of life. All of which is presented wonderfully as well. The soundtrack this time around is astonishing, the look of the game, now running on Unreal Engine 5, is beautiful. Well, there are occasional artifacts in some of the still unrefined elements of the engine, but they're never a distraction. And exploring the locations is usually very fun, with movement feeling swift, responsive, and perfect for a first-person puzzle game. While I wasn't a huge fan of the sigil puzzles from the first game, I know there were people who loved them, and now that they're mostly gone, I can see those people being disappointed. And the new bridge building puzzles aren't as interesting, and most often than not, it's actually faster to just guess your way through them rather than planning ahead. The worst moments in the game really exist only in contrast to how wonderful everything is. Some puzzle mechanics feel less polished, some puzzle rooms don't have failsafes for screwing up the order of things, and require checkpoint reload, which is almost never the case otherwise. Sometimes running around the huge locations in search of a way to solve a hidden puzzle is a bit of a chore, and a few of those hidden puzzles are really bad. But ultimately, it doesn't change the fact that the Talos Principle 2 is an amazing and unforgettable experience. I expected the game to be good, probably as easily recommendable as the first one, but no, it's so much better in almost every single way. So even if you didn't love the first game, I think you might love this one. And if you haven't played the original, grab both. They are a definite must play.